Oh, that's right. It's my lead. I'm like waiting for you.
Here.
Okay.
I just got to pretend like I'm awkwardly standing here while you're talking.
It's not awkward. You can look at there. You can look at me. Yeah, looks great. Hey everyone, I am in Matt Cremona's shop. If you're not familiar with this guy, definitely check his channel out. I will leave you a link below. I am in Minneapolis, Minnesota today, and I was here for a different reason, but we have a little bit of extra time. So today I'm gonna take the opportunity and do a serving board?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Serving platter
Sure.
out of some lumber that Matt has milled up himself. So stay tuned. We started off by finding a piece of maple that Matt milled up a few years ago and cut it in half so that he could be making a serving platter at the same time and showing me what to do without actually touching my project. I got to use a jointer for the very first time. That's an amazing tool. And then after getting one of the faces completely flat, we went over to the thickness planer and planed down the other side flat. So with both of the faces now flattened and taken care of, we used the track saw in order to get a nice square cut on both of the ends. It was at this point I asked if Matt could show me how to do a few bow ties, just for aesthetics. So I found a chunk of walnut and first cut a few strips at the bandsaw.
Smells so good.
Matt ended up making 4 for his, and I went with 2. So we first took our small pieces of walnut and drew out how big we wanted the bow ties. Then we moved it over to the vise on his workbench and used a chisel to carve out the shape. And honestly, I don't think that there's anybody else to better teach me how to do bow ties.
You make it look so easy.
Matt was, of course, very patient, and it was a blast being able to learn a new process and, of course, tons of new techniques. After getting one side of the bow tie completely carved out, then we would just flip it over and, of course, do the other side. After getting them all cut out, then we moved on to using some carpet tape, which is a really strong holding double-sided tape. And what we would do is place the bow tie on the tape, cut around it so you couldn't see it, and then place it on the boards where we wanted the bow ties to end up eventually. Then we used a marking knife to mark all sides of the bow tie. And this is so that you can remove the bow tie and then use a router to carve away the majority of that wood so that you'll have an exact fitting spot for that bow tie to be placed into. You want to get as close to your line as possible without going over it.
Looks all right though?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
All inside the lines.
You use the router to remove the majority of the wood, and then you come back with a chisel and a mallet in order to remove the rest of it. And Matt is so good at this. He actually finished all 4 of his before I finished my 2. All right, now it's a matter of truth. Seeing if they actually fit. Now we did put a slight bevel on the back side, on the underside of all of the edges, just to make fitting them into place easier. We tapped them in slightly and then used a piece of wood and a larger mallet in order to hammer them fully in place. Since we are using a live edge piece of material, we came back with some epoxy and epoxied both of the ends. And this will just do a good job at keeping the bark in place so that if it gets hit or bumped or whatnot, the bark won't want to fall off. And then since we were epoxying, we also went to the top side of the board and filled in any of the cracks or spaces. Now I left my epoxy clear, but Matt did something really cool and tinted his epoxy. I think the tinted epoxy actually came out looking really cool. After letting them set overnight, then we came back with the sander and sanded all of that epoxy down smooth as well as those bow ties. And Matt keeps some of these anti-slip maps around in his shop, and they're very useful for jobs just like this. Okay, next we decided to add in a small recessed circle for a bowl for, let's say, dipping sauce or Swedish fish. And we used a router with a template guide and a spiral bit.
Strong stuff, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's kind of crazy. Perfect. And then the last thing is using a router to cut in some handholds. These are recessed on the bottom so that you can slip your fingers in between the countertop or the surface it's setting on and the underside of the tray to pick it up. Then we could just give everything a nice sanding and a coat of finish. Okay, so now Matt and I both have a serving platter that, of course, we can serve food or something in a bowl in, but then also it looks nice just sitting out on the table. If you are not familiar with Matt's channel, he does a lot of work like this, where he will cut down a tree, mill up his own lumber, and then do projects with it. So I will leave you a link in the description below to that. Be sure to check it out. Thank you so much for having me in your shop and teaching me
This was so much fun.
about this. It was?
Yeah, come back again.
I'm going to. Not during winter, though. All right.
Spring.
I will see everybody next time. I hope you enjoyed it.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy woodworking?
Happy woodworking. And bye.
And bye. Real quick, we almost forgot that Matt and I are going to be doing a giveaway. Both of us are going to be giving away one of the Triton routers that we use to make one of these serving platters. So if you want more information, then also check the link in the description below. All the information will be there for you. We're going to be running the giveaway for the next 2 weeks. So check it out. You do that very well.